she starts telling me the story about how she really feels lonely and abandoned and really just icky at home by herself with the kids. And so what she does is she manufactures reasons that her husband has to come home for. There's been a problem with the kid. I have a doctor's appointment. The toilet's plugged up. The things are done. She would manufacture reasons. And her husband would have to leave work and to come home. And he would leave work and come home so much that no matter how good of a job he was doing, they would fire him. And they repeated this pattern over and over and over again until they were no longer married. It was not a sustainable pattern for them, right? And neither of them had the boundary conversation of being responsible. Hey, I want to be a responsible person. And in their mind, I'm trying to do the best I can to support my family. I'm there for my kids. I'm there for my wife. I'm there for my things. I'm all this thing. In his mind, he's giving, but he didn't set the boundary of, if I don't have a job, none of this works, right? And hers, because of her emotional feeling, she had a responsibility for herself and to her kids, right? But she didn't want to do it alone, so she created this self-destructive behavior, right, that continued over time until it didn't work anymore. And look, and this is my thought, and I told them so, but after their divorce, can I be honest with you? He is one of the best technology salesmen that ever existed. That dude is so successful, it's so dumb, right? All he had to do was get to stay at work. If he could have stayed at work, they could have had this incredible family life in there. But because they wouldn't set the boundary, they have this issue, right? So you have this. A hot-tempered person must pay the penalty. Rescue them, and they will do it again. Right? If you keep rescuing the person from their self-destructive behavior, they'll just keep doing it. You're going to pull them out, and they're going to keep doing it. Right? For my scenario here in this story, we can substitute a self-destructive person must pay the penalty. If they don't, you'll have to do it again. Right? This is God's principle. You can be self-destructive, that's fine, but if I don't allow you to pay the penalty and I keep bailing you out, I'm just going to keep having to bail you out again. Right? By continuing to avoid the responsibility discussion with a person and continuing to rescue them, this is now your new life. Your new life is to rescue people now. Right? And you've accepted it and you've adopted it. That's your new life. Look, when our children began to play sports, we loved our children. We had a conversation early on. We made an agreement as a family, and we had a conversation with our kids that you can play 2 sports a year. You get a fall sport, and you get a spring sport. And if you want to do a summer sport, then you won't get a fall or spring. And we will show up. We'll be there for snack day. We'll pay all our dues. We will be there for you. We'll go to every game, right? But if you want to play more sports than 2 sports a year, that's not going to happen. We're not going to be able to support it. Because if we can't do our jobs, and we can't do our volunteering, and we can't do the parts that we need to do to keep us healthy and keep us available, because we're constantly having to tend to your desire to play this game, then that's fine. But we're not doing that. Our boundary is we're responsible to us first, and by being good parents and setting this boundary, we're going to be able to support you with love and understanding in the things that you want to do, right? And this was our boundary. They were just they're great, and they're so glad for the experience. But if we'd have let them play on every select team, every other team, everything that could have been there, something would have happened, and it wouldn't have been that our kids weren't good at sports. It would be that our marriage didn't work, or our jobs didn't work, or our families didn't work. So we had to say, hey, our first responsibility is to be us. We have to support this family. We have to pay these bills. We have to do these things. We have to do all this. After that, we can be responsible to you and make sure that you have the foundational needs to move forward.